Right.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good
Yes,
morning.
it is.
It's
This
a
is
wonderful
just like
day.
church. There's nobody in the
Yeah.
It's real. It's really church. Well, the title of my talk I thought was Flowing in this Ocean of Inspiration, but it probably should be the sequel to Jerry's talk because it is Theresa after the resignation, pretty much. So you get to hear the sequel. We all know, we certainly know, we believe, and most of the time we trust that there's one source. There's one source that we're all infused with, immersed in, that's moving in, as, and through us most of the time. Most of the time we're remembering that, and I know that of all of you sitting here. So sometimes we don't, and that's just where we are on our path and what's happening in the given moment in that day. But it's natural. That is a natural process, that flow of life, and it's happening all around us. Sometimes it's happening within us, and sometimes it's not. In nature, we see it happening all around us all the time, anytime. What happens with rivers? Rivers naturally flow downstream. Some, many, most, flow into larger bodies of water. They flow into the sea, they flow into the ocean, they flow into this expansive body of water. This vast, endless seeming body of water. Some rivers don't. Some rivers don't even flow all the way down the mountain. They get jammed up, logged up, there's debris, garbage, something in the way, and it isn't flowing. It's pretty much the way it is in our life. That's pretty much what happened to me after I resigned. And I really had difficulty with that. So that's what I want to share this morning, is how we can sometimes block that flow, which is a natural process in life, and then possibly offer some ideas of how we can open ourselves back up again to that natural flow. I suspect there's some type A personalities in the room. Yeah, or some perfectionists maybe, or people that maybe have some tendency to self-criticism. Doubt your own strength maybe, or that you made the right decisions. Yeah. So I might touch on something of that in youth this morning. I hope I do. Ernest Holmes reminds us that doubt, fear, uncertainty, anxiety, and a sense of insecurity can so congest our mental life that nothing good can get through. And what's he talking about in this good? He's talking about inspiration. He's talking about peace. He's talking about love. He's talking about joy, ideas, possibilities, strength, all of that. That's the good in our lives, and that's the good in our lives that we want to be open and receptive to, don't we? All the time. I mean, each one of us want to live in that space all the time. Well, I want to. I want to be in that flow, and I want to feel myself in that ocean of inspiration. I wasn't feeling that, though. So I know that I needed to get my flow going. I needed to see that again in my life. Florence Scovel Shinn said, "Nothing on earth can resist an absolutely non-resistant person." Nothing on earth can resist a non-resistant person. I became a resistant person, a resistant to what is, which Jerry alluded to. So I don't know how many of you possibly read the article. It was an interview in Science Mind magazine sometime last year, mid to late year, on Eddie Watkins Jr. That was a fantastic, I was really inspired by that article. And he had talked about how he had come to a place where he recognized that he was playing music for his ego. And when he decided that he was going to change that focus and play God's music, play music for God. He said that once he made that decision, he said he became the recipient of a never-ending stream of music. Yeah, yeah, that's what I want. I'm not a musician, but I want to be in that movement all the time of inspiration, that stream of music or ideas or possibilities. Yeah. And so he went on to say we have to get out of the way and let God do its thing, and that's a wonderful song of his, Let God Do Its Thing. See, we build walls. Let me use the analogy of how we build walls to keep people out because we think we might get hurt. And you all are familiar with that idea, how we build walls around us to protect us. But we actually build walls to keep God out. And of course we can't actually keep God out because God's in, right? But we build a wall around ourselves where we're not recognizing the presence that's right there. Right there. This is what I had done. Those walls become like dams in a river. And then things aren't flowing. And we wonder why it's not flowing. And I have had this past month a tendency of looking outside myself. I cannot describe the sense of turmoil that was going on for me. So this is where being a type A comes in. You know, Jerry had used the phrase that I wanted to get control of my life. I think that was one of those moments where maybe Jerry forgot or didn't hear correctly, because I don't think I used that term. But what I did say, what I know I was feeling, was that I had lost control. Like I felt out of control. My life felt extremely unmanageable and out of control. And that I did not like. I hope I didn't say that I wanted to take control of my life. But the idea that I was feeling that my life was being forced, that I was having to put forth so much effort on a daily basis, 24/7, constantly doing things, I came to that decision, to that realization, just like Eddie Watkins did, that I needed to make a decision. And when I came to that decision, I felt really, really good about it. I felt really good about it. I felt really comfortable. So then I had to think, well, I need to take a personal inventory here. I need to take a personal inventory after I've made this decision of why my life had become unmanageable. Now, I think I mentioned earlier in the week that I'm working with a journal that I used 4 years ago. So I have the beautiful opportunity of looking at what was going on in my life 4 years ago on the same day, the same time in the year. The parallels are frightening for me personally. That I am right back in a very familiar place. There's a definite pattern here. There's a definite pattern. And I think recognizing that threw me into a tailspin as well. Oh my God, I'm doing this again. So I had to really, like I said, take this personal inventory. And I discovered 5 things that had really landed me in this place of feeling like I had blocked. I was number 1, resisting. Like Jerry said, resisting what was. I resigned. And then I immediately started second guessing myself. Was that the right decision to make? I started missing writing my talks. I started missing the community. I felt like I had extra time. I didn't know what to do with it, which really wasn't true. It's just that I wasn't, against the wall every day. I started really judging myself. That self-critical part really came in. Beyond, why did I think I could do this in the first place? That was a big one. I kept saying that to myself. Why did I think I could do this in the first place? 2 jobs and going to school, taking 4 classes in a term. Did I think I was Cliff? I think I could do that. Cliff can do that. I can't do that. Why did I think I could do that? really berating myself with that one. And then why did I make the decision to leave? Walter Starkey said that the best thing that we can really ever give anyone, and I will add ourselves, is the freedom from judgment. Yeah, best gift. What a good gift. You know, so I've been working on that. And the third thing here is my disappointment. Because this decision obviously didn't just affect me. It didn't just affect my household. It affected a lot of other people, a whole community that had grown to love me. I know they did. I know they do. And so my disappointments were tied back in with judgment and it kept me jammed up. It kept me jammed up. Then resentments. I had to take a look at resentments that I had. That wasn't pretty, but I found that in my journal 4 years ago. Feeling exhausted, I was completing my bachelor's degree and saying my husband needs to help me more. So I had to talk to him about that. And we actually came to have a beautiful conversation about it. But it started as a resentment. I'm doing all of this. I had a resentment with my practitioners. Many of you that have been in class knew that. I felt that I wasn't being supported as the director of the community. I had resentments with a board of trustees that I felt were, quite frankly, incompetent. And I had those thoughts. So not only was I being self-critical, I was being critical of others around me. And let me tell you, that has been much easier to let go of. That has been much easier to forgive than to forgive the disappointment that I have in myself. So I'm still working on that piece, which is number 5, that piece of forgiveness, that self-forgiveness. Because I love Jerry as one of our practitioners. I love all our practitioners, everyone there. It's harder to do this piece. I think this is the piece that's left. This is the piece that's left. I want to ask you to do one thing with me for a moment, so you can really grasp what I'm talking about when we have this tension built up inside of ourselves. If you would, just clench your fist and at the same time tighten your body, squinch up your face, close your eyes, and get yourself all tight. And when you tense up like this, I want you to think of God, and think of God loving you. Yes, right here, right now, loving you. Can you feel it? Do you feel it? Keep tensing up. Keep tensing up. Keep tight. Now release that. And take a breath. Take another breath. And really let yourself relax. And breathe in with me for a moment. And know that God is right here, right now. God is love. God is support. God is breathing each one of us, loving us now. Do you feel God now? Yeah. Did you feel God when I asked you to tense up?
No.
Not so much. You do that. It's physical. It's like those logs in the river. It's really there. It's really there. And when I walk around like this, because I'm tight, because I'm tense, I can't possibly be open to that flow of inspiration, to that love, to that peace that's right here, but I'm not recognizing it. I'm not able to move with it because I'm stuck. I'm tight. This is a reminder for me So, how do we open up? How do I open up? I've been working on this. This was my resignation, and as I said, I felt really confident about the decision when I made it, and even that morning, I was so well received after my talk that morning. It was a beautiful morning. It really was, and I felt really good. I don't remember how long it took for that feeling to leave me, though, and this resentment and self-criticism and doubts and disappointments to settle in. But I've been working since the beginning of March, or mid-March, since I gave that talk, on opening up. You know, this ocean of inspiration is available equally to all of us. And as we've just demonstrated, we are the ones who get in the way of it. Beethoven was certainly in the flow. Beethoven is said to have received an entire symphony in a moment, in an instant of inspiration. And a symphony that took him a week to write out, it takes an orchestra an hour to perform, came to him like that. He had the whole thing right there. Brahms the same way. He's known to have said, I always contemplate my oneness with the Creator before commencing to compose. I immediately feel vibrations that thrill my whole being, and the ideas flow in upon me. Measure by measure, the finished product is revealed. Yeah. Isn't that what we want? Yeah, it is. It's what we want. And we can have that. We can live from that source of inspiration that's just springing forth from us and then taking us into that wide, expansive place where all those possibilities are. We can have that. We don't have to be Brahms or Eddie Watkins Jr., right? We don't. Ernest Holmes told us this in Living the Science of Mind. He said, each one of us is an inlet for the divine. But because we are individuals with free will, we can inhibit its flow. So we can block it, we can squeeze it down to a small volume, it says, or we can even stop it altogether. Or we can open up to the channels of faith and conviction and hope, and we can increase its flow. So it goes on. It goes, it's endless, this joy that we can have. And it's natural, it's this natural flow. Ernest Holmes goes on to say, it's a natural joy of life, is to be unblocked and in this flow. It's natural for us. So to be that inlet, as he says, here's what I believe, here's what I had to do for myself, was first meditation. Now, I've been a meditator for 20-some years. I teach it. I teach children. I couldn't do it. I was really struggling with something that I've done for 2 decades. I had a real hard time just quieting my mind. So what I did was I started chanting. Rick, the chant that Reverend Villon did with us in San Jose, I bought that CD. I have been sitting with my 102 beads and counting that off. And that really helped me settle. It really, I had a focus. And then once I was feeling settled with that, I could do contemplation. Then I would take an idea and I would sit with the idea and let my being be filled with that idea. But being in that place of silence, waiting for the inspiration, took quite a while. For me, because there was just so much going on there. In our textbook, we read, all illumination, inspiration, and realization must come through the self-knowing mind. Our lives are the result of our self-contemplations. Man, is that true? Good or bad? It is. What we experience is what's going on in here, you all know that. I have known it this last month very, very clearly in a way that I didn't particularly like most of the time. So here's the second piece of that, is being mindful. Teach mindfulness meditation. Wow. And I was unable to do that. So through the chanting, through the contemplation, through the sitting, I was finally able to say, wow, listen to what's going on. And listen without judgment. That's what mindfulness is. And then I started being able to release what I was hearing that I did not like. And just as happiness is a choice, we all know that. Happiness is a choice. To love is a choice. Allowing Spirit's inspiration to flow in, as, and through us is a choice. It is a choice. And I can choose to today to be that instrument. I can choose today to walk in the pathway of inspiration. And let me lastly say what I've added to how I've been able to move towards being that flow of inspiration. It has been this cruise. And it's been the fun. It's been the laughter. It's been the joy that I have allowed myself to experience. It's been the lack of sleep. It really has. Because I was having fun. It has been a long time since I felt like I was having fun. I've allowed myself to have fun this week. And so I know, boy, I'm clear. I'm really feeling clear right now. Which is so funny to think that laughter and joy, and it certainly wasn't what I was experiencing. We are immersed in this vast potential of inspiration, of ideas, and we are the ones that clog it by our resistance, by our doubts, by our judgments, our disappointments, our resentments, our refusal to forgive. But that inner beauty that's here for us is our success. And I'm so delighted that I can now accept it in joy and with gratitude. And I want to thank each one of you for helping me do that this week. Thank you.